This method is something I like to call the flip it method, and essentially is going to give you a ton of ideas, basically more than you can actually film, and you can always create and recreate the method based on the inputs that you put in at the beginning, and it'll give you a whole bunch more ideas for you and your business. This is really good for anyone who has a specific target with their content. And what I mean by that is if you have a target audience, if you know exactly what they are, or you think you could know what they are, somebody who has a pain point, and you want to help them get to a dream solution, somewhere where they actually are having some kind of results, this is the perfect way to get them there through content. Now, this can also help business-wise. It's actually really good for you to know this within your own business as well, but it's a really great little piece for content idea generation. So let's talk about what you need. You're going to need two things before you start this method or process, before you start your flip it method. And then there are going to be two steps that you do in the method with the two things that you bring to it. So what are these two things? The first thing is your target audience. Now, target audiences, it's something that you hear almost like a buzzword in marketing. In the past, I was always somebody who never liked the idea of target audiences, but it's really, really important. And if you want an easier way of thinking of your target audience, just try and think of this. If you have somebody sitting in front of you and you want to persuade them of something, to buy your product, of course, is a persuasion, it's a sale. If you want to persuade somebody in front of you to, let's say, take a glass of water, how you speak to them is going to be different if they were a 4-year-old child versus a 70-year-old man. These differences in personalities and how you speak to somebody, it changes everything. You want to align with, that you want your product to share with, or that you want to, be friends with, whatever it is. A target audience is very, very important. So if you haven't thought about target audiences before, I do have a little target audience workbook that you can just jump into. Just join our free community, the Content Leaders Club, in the link in the bottom, and that'll give you a free target audience booklet, and I guide you through that process. But the number one thing you're going to need is your target audience. With target audience, of course, you can use demographics, their age, their profession, things like that. But what I really, really like is psychographics. What pain do they sit in now? That's why I've got this line here. This target audience and the pain they sit in now. What is the problem that they're facing? If you are a dentist, right, your target audience's pain doesn't really matter about their demographic, as in it doesn't matter about their age, their whatever. You might have a demographic, but it doesn't matter as much as the pain they sit in now. My tooth hurts, right? That's when they come into the dentist practice. So what is the pain that they sit in now? That's what you've got to know for this method. The next thing that you want to know is the dream outcome. What is the overall solution that you want to get them to? That is the next thing you have to know. Now, this is very important, and it's all going to be done within your target audience booklet. So I've got this full booklet in the Content Leaders Club. Again, if you want help with all the worksheets and things like that, just go into that and I'll help you out there. But essentially now you've got two things, right? You've got your target audience and you've got the dream outcome, the overall solution that you want to get them to. Okay. What we're going to do now is we're going to start the flip it method. As you can see on here, we've got the target audience, the pain that they sit in now, and then you've got the dream outcome. The first step in the flip it method is to write out the steps, right? All of the steps that the person, your target audience, needs in order to achieve their dream outcome. Let's go through some together. We can use the dentist example here. The pain they sit in now is a sore tooth. The solution they want is clean white teeth that nobody ever complains about, right? Or nobody ever mentions again. So they actually want something even more than the immediate pain. They want never to worry about their teeth again. What are all the steps that somebody's going to need to take in order to never worry about their teeth again? Number one, they're going to have to brush their teeth, right? Every day. Number two, they're going to have to potentially floss. Number three, they might have to get retainers put in, or braces, right? Number 4, they might have to come to the dentist quite often, actually arrive at the dentist. They have to avoid sugary foods. What else do they have to do? Well, in order to have these teeth that they never have to worry about again, they might have to endure the pain from the retainers in their mouth. What else do they have to do in order to get to this dream outcome? Well, once they finish the braces, they might have to put Invisaligns in. Essentially, you get the point. There are so many different steps that they have to take from the original pain to the dream outcome, the thing that your service is helping them get to in the eventual end. Before we move on to the next bit, what I want you to do is make sure that you have gone in and filled in every single step that you can. Fill in those steps, because once you fill in those steps, you're in a wonderful position to do the final thing with the flip it method, which is going to be great for you, okay? So, fill in the steps from the pain that they are now to the dream outcome. Shall we try one more with a different audience? Let's do that just in case. So physical products are really easy to do this with. It's really simple to do that. But what about information products? Information products seem to be a little bit harder because you don't have physical steps like putting in braces or something like that. Let's try an information product. Let's try something like financial tips. The pain that our target audience is sitting in is that they don't have a lot of money and they haven't saved very well. Where do they want to get? What's the dream outcome? The dream outcome is pretty simple. They want to be financially independent. So what are the steps that someone who doesn't have any money and hasn't saved very well, what do they have to do in order to become financially independent? Number 1, they're going to have to look at their finances. Allow somebody else to look at their finances. So I might even add that to the first one. Even before they start doing anything, they have to be honest about their finances. Stop going out as much. Stop ordering online so much. Start saving 10% of income. Have conversation with their wife or husband. Sacrifice. Don't go on holidays. You get the point. Invest. Patience. Okay, there's loads of steps here. Absolutely loads of steps. You can see that essentially any kind of original pain meeting any dream outcome, there are loads of steps that need to happen in order to get there. Get creative. Think about the steps. Think about them in detail. As many steps as possible, because as many steps as possible allow you to open this up to as many ideas as possible. So we've gone ahead and gotten our target audience. We've gotten their dream outcome. We've gotten the steps to get there. The final thing that we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at the problems that people have with the steps to get there. So when we spoke about, let's say, the dentist, right? And then one of the steps was to go to a dentist regularly or brush your teeth. What are the problems that people have with the step? You are going to write these out in detail. Now, think about it in this structure. This is my favorite structure of all. And I actually got the structure from $100 Million Offers in Alex Hormozi's book when he spoke about creating a really great product. When I saw this was the main thing that made me think, oh my gosh, this needs to be used for content, because it is the core of what you're doing is you're helping somebody get from the pain they sit in now to the overall solution that you want to get them to. Well, this is fantastic for your content. You can help them with structures like this. So what you're going to do is you're going to structure it out as the step. So let's say going to the dentist is negative word, annoying, time consuming, stressful, painful, anything like that. Negative word, because specific problem. Because I don't have enough time, because it costs too much money, because it makes my gums hurt and I start bleeding, because whenever I do it, I feel self-conscious, because all of these problems need to be drawn out, and you can write hundreds of them, absolutely hundreds of them. I'm going to show you right now what we have. I have creative blocks. So one of the things and steps that people need to take is making content within our niche, I've got here within the creative block section, making content is daunting because I'm drawing a blank every time I sit down to brainstorm new ideas. Making content is stifling because I feel like I've already covered all the interesting topics in my niche. Making content is draining because after hours of client-focused work, my creative tank is on empty. Basically, write all of these problems down. I have written 144 for our niche. Now, if you want to supercharge this process, what I would suggest you do is just make sure that you know your target audience, the pain that they sit in now. Make sure you know that dream outcome. And then I'm going to put in the description below in this video what prompt you can use for ChatGPT. Essentially, you insert your target audience, you insert their dream outcome, you insert some specific problems or steps that need to happen, and then ChatGPT can do the rest. But I would genuinely suggest that you try this thing first. You've got to try this first because you're going to know some specific problems which make even better content. We want to open that up a little bit and not have the most boring content in the world. You want to make sure that there's a little bit of spice in there. So let's give you an example. One of the problems that somebody might be having might be a specific one with a specific brand. I actually have it even within myself. Making content on Instagram is difficult because I'm always shadow banned. ChatGPT might not give you that specific problem or that specific step, or Facebook is blocking me. I get that a lot. So I think you've got to try this process first yourself and then, open it up a little bit more. But like I said, I have all of the workbooks and everything in our Content Leaders Club. You can just go down below and it's completely free, all for you. But essentially what you want to do is you want to write out as many of these problems from the steps as possible. So go to the dentist. Let's try this together. Go to the dentist is the step. The problems with going to the dentist is going to the dentist is, what's the negative word? I'm just going to do lines like that. Painful because my teeth hurt. Stressful because I don't have enough time. My kids run around in the office. I have to fit it into an already busy schedule, or it's 30 miles away. Or what if I get there and they tell me I don't have to do anything? Or the flossing hurts in my teeth. Whatever it is, write as many specific problems as possible. Now, if you know your target audience, if you know where they want to be, you will find problems upon problems upon problems. Now, when you have a list of all of these problems, the flip it method is done. What you have to do is just now flip it into a solution. Okay, going to the dentist is painful because my teeth and gums hurt, right? Whenever we go. Well, how do we solve this? If your gums hurt, you're not doing these 3 things to prime them up. You've got to make sure you blah, blah, blah. You've got to blah, 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 or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a dentist. I can't tell you. But I'll take one of our content ones. Making content is frustrating because the editing takes too much time to learn. Okay, I can solve this straight away. If content is really difficult for you and it's taking too much time to learn, one of the major things that you can do is learning how to delegate instead of actually doing it yourself. Or you can create templates that you can do over and over again. But the one thing about getting templates, you lose a little bit of that creative control rather than delegating it to somebody else. But the problem with delegating is you might have to pay someone. So there's always a price and sacrifice point at which, see what I mean? I just solved that problem right in front of you. Basically, because I'm an expert in this field, I can do that for each. Now, that's the one thing that you need to know. You need to know how to solve these problems. And if you do know how to solve these problems, well done. If you don't, again, you can supercharge this sort of stuff with ChatGPT, but I don't recommend this. I recommend this. Get an expert in your field, and you'll have content forever in your small business. Anyway, my name is Alessandro Frasali. I run Frasali Creative, a content agency where we help you get completely visible in whatever field you're in, specifically experts who want to, become thought leaders or companies that really want to make an impact in this world. Anyway, if you want to join, get all the free resources in our Content Leaders Club below. If you want to talk to me about mentorships or anything like that, all my contact details in the bottom. Otherwise, make sure you subscribe for some really good content about marketing and journeys and other things. Anyway, talk to you soon.